Hello. How are you guys? I just finished one video and I thought I was on a roll. I didn't want it to end, so I decided to go again. And I can see it's all new names, so it's kind of worth going again, really, wasn't it? So yeah. Not that I want to talk about the same things, but I will. So what are you guys all doing tonight? Are you all doing good? Gluten-free bread with Branston pickle. No butter or margarine. It's very nice, if I'm honest. Yeah, it's very nice. Freiherr von Schlitz. That's a cool name. I don't know what it means, but hi. How was the heavy metal masterclass then? Yeah, how was it? Was it good? Envy that. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's got to be a great day out, hasn't it? It's got to be a great day out. At the end of the day, you know, that was my one thing as a kid. That's all I ever wanted to do. That was it. Work for heavy metal. But, you know, shit goes down the way it goes down, doesn't it? Yeah. Why? What did they teach you about a dry pallet? They are nice guys. Well, these are the ones I've spent a significant amount of time with. Max, Martin Peterson, Aidan Daly. They were all lovely. I had a wonderful afternoon with them in Bugman's one time. It was just freaking great. We all sat there, all of our models, all out on the balcony, and we just frothed over minis, over their paint jobs and my paint jobs. I hope so. It was great. It actually awakened that little child in me. It's a little bit of a sad story for me, if I'm honest, because I put that child and that child's ambitions working for the heavy metal team to bed a long time ago, because I decided there's no hope or no point. Either I have the wrong reputation or the wrong attitude or the wrong professional an online profile, or I don't know. I have to guess, but the point is I don't work for the heavy metal team, so I put it to bed. And that conversation really woke that child up. Part of me wishes he really didn't, but there you go. So, Mr. Novellum, enough about me and that stuff. Right, so I talk about my fundamentals course. The first thing I teach you is how and why to use a palette. Let's get stuck in here, alright? Now, I think, I don't even think, I know it because you've just demonstrated it. I think the world over is teaching people how to paint wrong. Wrong. I teach people on the fundamentals course what is important. You are struggling with the palette, so it must be important. It must be important. So why are you not being taught how to use a palette and why a palette is important? And then how does it work? Why does it work? These are real big important points. A palette is not somewhere to keep your paint, though it does serve that purpose. The pot is also a place to keep your paint. You can also keep your paint up the walls, on your girlfriend, wherever. Yeah, paint can be kept anywhere. So why is a dry palette an important tool? Therein lies a clue. No one promotes a palette as a tool. Well, why? People use a wet palette. Do they use it as a tool? Yeah, to keep the paint wet. Why? Oh, because they don't want it to dry out. Why? Well, because it dries out too quick and I can't use it. Why? Interesting question, why, innit? Any ideas? Now I just posed all that to you. All these painting guides, or all these tips you might get in White Dwarf, or online, or in some video. Gecados, you've just said it's important. Why? Why? Dry palette helps understand dilution of paint. Not enough. Not enough, that answer. You can understand dilution of paint on a wet palette. And you can understand dilution of paint by dropping it in the bath. You can also understand dilution of paint by not diluting it. Because maybe it's already diluted. Maybe it was once a dry solid and it was diluted to that point. It can all be argued and all be fighting around with. And I am playing a little bit with you here. But I'm doing it deliberately to make you think. Why? Why? Help you understand the dilution of paint. Why? Use your wet palette for specific jobs. Mr. Pedley, would you like to explain live on this channel? Do you want to join in the video? Because by the way, people who don't know Mr. Pedley, they don't know a wonderful human being. And somebody who I actually consider a friend. Do you want to join me? In fact, I'm just going to invite you right now, sucker. Go live with Damien Pedley. Let's see if he accepts. I have to sit up because his head's going to fill the bottom half of the screen. So Damien has a blog called Dee's Paint Filled Hellhole. If you're in any doubts as to how good a painter he is, and as to what his opinion is worth, then go and look at his blog. Mate, he'll be right. We're all open-minded. He actually sat there sculpting naked. Something like that. Mr. Satan, it's good to have you back. Pallets. Mr. Goblin Bother, good evening, sir. Did you earn that name, by the way? Or did you just think it sounded cool? I hope you earned it. Please tell me you earned it. There's a story in that. Did you come away with teeth marks? Did he? Or her? Yeah, I know you said you just got out of bath, but before you said you were sculpting. You've had your bath and now you're sculpting. So were you sculpting naked? Yeah, but you're always a Yeti. Joy. What's your full name, Yeti dude? Michael Lunt. Good evening, everybody. Chris V, good evening. You don't need clothes for wet or dry pallets. No, you do not. But at least one garment prevents some kind of little kiss on the seat of your furniture. Definitely, unless you're going to do it standing up. Do you want to, are you going to put some clothes on or enjoy me? No, please don't feel obliged, by the way, mate. Honestly. Don't feel obliged. I have the unfortunate chance to meet you in March. Hey, I work hard anyway, mate. Regardless of who I meet. You know, I don't even put yourself down, by the way, because you don't. In fact, this is one thing actually. It's a bugbear that I have for all students that come to me for either private painting lessons or come on courses. They come in with a preconception that either A, they're unteachable, or B, they know what they need to know. You don't know what you need to know. If you knew what you needed to know, you'd bugger off and learn it. You wouldn't need me. Yeah. Yeah, so I have some students that send me an email and they'll tell me what they need to work on. They'll tell me what they need, what they want to develop. They'll tell me what they think is important, but they don't know. And not that I'm saying that I'm sat here knowing best now, because I don't know what you need to work on. I can make a few very educated guesses, but what happens is I'll put you through a process that'll highlight without argument what you need to work on, and then we'll work on those things. So I tell you what, just look forward to the course. Just look forward to it. You know, you're not going to be difficult unless you're going to be a knob in the class. In which case, you might just be asked to leave. You know, I can't see that happening. Never actually had that ever. You know, because everyone wants to learn. Everyone there wants to learn. So yeah. Ricardo says you never use a wet palette. For metallics, for example, why would you choose metallics as an example, Mr. Gicardos? Yeah, I think I'm going to make why the theme of this video, actually. Why? Why? Nate Satan, I always think the paint is more honest on a dry palette, but I have a weird ideas that shouldn't be copied. Wet palette. Explain that. Explain all that. You can't trust the surface. You have to explain that a little bit more. Novellum, sorry you had to tap out. That's alright, man. Don't worry about it. Good. I'm glad you're looking forward to it, Mr. Yeti. I'm looking forward to it. Honestly, right? I've been running this course for quite a number of years now, so I've ran it a few times. I'm pretty proficient at it. And for this last course that I just ran in Hull with Journeyman Miniatures, that was my first one for a few years, and I was quite nervous, if I'm honest, you know, because I've had a few knocks over the last couple of years, emotionally, physically, professionally, blah blah blah. But it was nice to go and break that duck again and get cracking on, and I don't get sick of it. I do not get sick of teaching beginners or experienced painters alike the same things again and again and again and again, because it's not about teaching them those same things. It's about, for me, seeing the realization on people's faces that actually this is possible, and it is not possible because of physical skill. It's possible because there are some definite choices, quantifiable choices to make that separate great painters from not so great painters. Teach you those choices, yeah, and those choices apply at a top end and at a low end. They are the same choices. There's no difference really between a low-end painter, what you might call an army painter or a beginner painter or whatever you want to call it, to an experienced painter or a top-end painter or whatever you want to call it. They're just two ideas. We think they're at different ends of the spectrum. They're not. They're one and the same thing. One difference is you might call it resolution. A pixel is a pixel. Yeah? But you zoom away and use a lot of pixels, all of a sudden you have a different resolution. You know, you might consider those things with a higher resolution of a higher quality than those things with a lower resolution. But you take away that lower resolution, you take away the Lego brick that builds higher resolution. So I teach you them Lego bricks. You can build whatever you want at higher resolution. So, Novellum says, just so we're clear, is it normal for paint to completely dry on a dry palette in less than a minute? It's been, yeah, it is. Much less than a minute. Much less than a minute. If you don't know what you're doing. Paint has two jobs to do. What are they? Nate Satan says, a wet palette sure is good, but dry palette, I know what I can control and what I should be doing and forgetting to. Wet palette might over moist or dry out faster than you are used to. What do we think of that answer? And why? Seeing as why is becoming the theme of the video. It's a great question. Why and how? Some of you might have noticed, by the way, that when it comes to certain things, I do not, and will not give direct answers. There's two reasons for this. The first reason is I want you to think. I want you to think. Because knowing how to think is more important than knowing what to think. Knowing 2 + 2 is 4. A parrot could tell you that. A parrot could go 2 + 2 is 4. Well done, parrot. Why? Parrot ain't going to be able to tell you. Don't want parrots. Don't want any of my students to be parrots. In fact, I don't want any of my students to need me. Check that out for a business model. Alright? Don't want them to need me. So I teach them how to fish. I ain't a fishmonger. Yeah? I want everyone knowing how to fish. I want everyone knowing how to teach themselves to paint. And that is what I teach you. Alright? So the first thing is, I give very indirect answers. I ask you very strange questions because I want you to think. The second reason is when and if somebody comes to me for a private painting lesson or attends one of my courses, I rely on the fact you don't know what you're on about to give you impact when I hit you with the answer, or when the answer hits you itself, or when you hit yourself with the answer. It's like spoilers. If I told you all about the red wedding, oh yeah, the red wedding, there's a bit where all these dudes in this family invite this other family around to their castle and they fucking slit their throats. Here, watch this. It'll be as awesome for you as it was for me. It ain't gonna happen like that. There's spoilers. Yeah, because I have an emotional impact, at least I try to anyway, and a mental impact on you in the way I teach. And if I just put all them answers out there, then when you come to my lesson, what happens? There's less impact. So if you want to know, come. It's as simple as that. I value that so much. Like that part of teaching. Yeah, it's essential, you know. So when a student sits down, they have no choice but to submit, because they don't know what it is I have to teach. You know, they have to open up. They have to they have to empty out as well. You know, so yeah, there you go. You got the theme of the video is why, and there's 2 whys, and they're very good whys, I think. Okay, let's go back up. Yeti says, I've tried both. I quite like straight out of the pot too, but that's mostly Citadel metals. Like should have nothing to do with it. If you are trying to reach a certain objective of quality. So, for example, you might like having 6s facing up on a dice, but rolling a dice will not always get you that 6. There is only one way to consistently get a 6 on a dice, and that is to deliberately place it that way. Yeah, we all think dice are for rolling. They're not for rolling. And rolling a dice will not get you all the 6s you all want. You know? So you can have the ways you like. You might like rolling dice. Rolling dice is miles better than placing them. You know? But it's not going to get you where you want to go. If where you want to go is where you want to go. And if you're flailing around in the dark, essentially like the toss of a dice, which most painters are, everyone's trying to get better at painting, or they're trying to avoid painting. The people who I think are trying to avoid painting are the ones that wanted to get better but actually ain't willing to go through the effort of it, which really, again, is the toss of a dice. those that are trying to get better and they've not got the right information, but they think they've got all the information they need. Like, oh yeah, top painters all use a wet palette. Well, that's a toss of a dice. No, the top painters who are using a wet palette know how to use a wet palette. They make very deliberate choices. You've got to understand your tool. The painters who are using a dry palette understand that tool and how to use it, which is different to knowing how to teach it. I have taught this subject a lot to a lot of people with a 100% success rating. Yeah, not because I'm the big I am, but because these things are tangible and quantifiable sets of ideas. Yeah, they're observable mechanics, and once you understand what those things are, then you can pass them on and use them. But until you know you've got a spanner in your tool kit, you ain't going to tighten that bolt up, are you? No matter how loose or rattly it gets. Spanner's the right tool for the job. If you've got a Phillips screw, then you need a Phillips screwdriver. Do you know how to use them? Blah, blah, blah. You know? Novellum says, I don't see how that can outweigh the fact that you have to open paint and mix every minute. You can still judge consistency on a wet palette. Because you don't see is why you can't develop it. So let me ask you a question, Novellum. In fact, wow, there are loads. In fact, I'm going to read all these things first, and I'll come back to that if it's relevant after having read all these answers. You don't like that. So Nate says, that's what I meant by honest. I can trust the response of the paint more. I can trust my judgments about the paint more, and I doubt myself an awful lot. So honest paint is more valuable paint to my brain. On dry. On wet, you're never certain. But that's so. And then Novellum replies, but that's only because it's what you're used to. If you started to use a wet palette with the same paper, sponge, blah blah blah, you get the same feel for it. I'm not sure what you mean by the same paper and sponge. You can't get the same paper and sponge as a dry palette, or do you mean the same paper and sponge every day? Blah blah blah. And it's convenient, but it's not honest. See, Nate's saying you need to. I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. You need to elaborate what you mean by honest. Honest is not a tight term. It's not a teachable term. It's not a quantifiable term in relation to what it is we're talking about. It's convenient, but it's not honest. It's not, can't think of the word. Practicing correct form so you get flabby. You should use it if you enjoy it. The best thing is enjoying. Now that I can agree with you. If you're enjoying using a wet palette, you're enjoying the results you're getting from it, then that's great. However, there are certain facts about a wet palette that cannot be argued with. Do you know what they are? That's a question for everybody. Novellum, you love to get one-on-one tuition from me. Painting mentally is the most important thing to me at the moment, which you seem to be a big proponent of. Yeah, I absolutely believe that your issues are mental. Every student, including me, and you know, it's all ideas in your head. Or a lack of ideas in your head. Generally, you know, when people come to me for painting lessons, what I do is I don't teach them more. What I do is I remove the bullshit in their head that's preventing them from moving forwards, which I wish some people would help me with in my life. You know, whether it be for my health, for my finances, or my professional. I wish somebody would come in and help me do that, but you know, I'm having to apply my ideas of painting to that. To help myself along, but you know, these other areas are not necessarily passionate areas of my life. I'm passionate about figure painting, but you know, well, some people might disagree. But fuck those guys. Actrutvet says, my choice to use a dry or wet palette depends on what I am painting at that moment and how best to apply the paint for me. That's an interesting choice of words. What do you mean by for you? Because I would apply paint based on the objective for the project. Because anything could be for me, you know, splattering it and dry brushing it and whatever and just creating a mess could be for me. But if I was doing all that for a golden demon, probably not going to get anywhere. But, you know, I made myself happy. But no, I'm not happy because I was doing it for a golden demon, you know. So what do you mean by for you? Damien Pedley always has both out. Dude, you've got the business to back all that stuff up, you know. Everyone follow Damien Pedley, by the way. Novellum. No, Nate Satan says, Novellum, yes, it's a brain game, and I think the wet palette suits. And Tommy is great, really. Oh, thank you. Try and help. In fact, that's all I'm ever trying to do. And if I'm honest, it really ticks my box. I do it because I enjoy it. It's a completely selfish experience for me, this. You know. Who knew? So, being helpful was being selfish. So Novellum says, I think I'm a bit behind here, but surely paint on a dry palette isn't honest because it's consistently in the process of drying out. Yesterday I was constantly seeing beads of dried paint. Novellum says again, on the model that I picked up from the palette. Oh, eyes. Oh, juicy bit of information that for me. Activate. I tell you what, you guys are all having the conversation here. Really, I can't keep up. I'm just going to sit and watch you. Activet says everyone has a different style or method that works best for them. No, methods do not work best for you. They're not like weird creatures that just decide or not to decide who they're going to work for. No, the person doing the painting makes things work, or they fail to make things work depending on how they've developed their skill set. Learn all the skill sets and you should be able to make anything and everything work for you. What are those skill sets? How do they work and why do they work? Do you know those things? Therein lies the question. So Novellum says, what I mean is that this is far more than a hobby for me. It's your life and a means of feeling productive. I'm improving your self-esteem, blah, blah, blah. It has a much bigger impact on my mental state. That's very good to hear. Like, helps you. Mr. Silverfox, good evening. Mr. Pedley's here as well, by the way. Nate saying, I don't think honest has helped, has it? Yes, it's drying out. So, no one's answered my question. I asked a question. So, everyone engaged now. Focus. A paint has two jobs to do. The paint has two jobs to do. And if it doesn't do either one of those jobs, it's fucking useless to you. What are those two jobs that paint needs to do? Answers on a postcard. Be careful with the word practice, Nate. Practice is a double-edged coin. Double-edged coin. Cuts both ways. L. Evening, dude. So, paint has two jobs to do. If it doesn't do either of these jobs, it's useless. Paint being one of the most important tools. Can't paint without it. Can't paint with a brush. Can't paint without a model. Can't paint without water. Can't paint without a palette. Some of those could be argued. You could use your thumb or a potato instead of using a brush. Fair enough, whatever. It's still an applicator, so we'll use that word then instead if people want to get tight on it. You don't have to use a palette. You could go straight from the pot, in which case the pot kind of then becomes your palette, and I bet you kind of still use a tissue or your thumb or something else nerdy, you know. Or I bet you'll still spread your model round, the paint round on the model in a certain way before you're happy with it, in which case the model then becomes a palette of sorts. You still need a place to manage your paint. Novellum says it doesn't, though unfortunately it mostly isn't it. You guys are all having a conversation of your own. So Nate Satan In fact, it doesn't though, unfortunately. It mostly has a negative impact. I'm so engrossed in the hobby and so much into it, but rarely feel any satisfaction. What is it you're actually looking for then, Mr. Novellum? Let's see if we can help you out there. Why does painting have a negative impact on you? Yet you keep on doing it. So Nate Satan says Nate Satan says 1 answer is to dry. The second is opacity. So is a wash opaque? Citadel wash. This business. Is ink opaque? Is a glaze opaque? Definitely, paint has to dry. If it doesn't dry, you ain't painting, are you? You're just making something wet. And making something wet isn't what we need. So yeah, he says decorate and protect surfaces. Paint doesn't need... decorate is not... Decorate's always going to be a matter of opinion. Also one of aesthetic. And aesthetic is a matter of opinion. Yeah. Protect surfaces. You don't necessarily need paint to protect surfaces. You know what I mean? It's not a CD case. But I'm looking at a tin of masonry paint at the moment. Yeah. No, that's different. Yeah, let's not use masonry paint on models. Nate says I'm so wrong about provoke responses. Taste and smell. No, they do have a smell and they do have a taste, but by far off the point. Right, you're constantly trying to improve and reach the next level, which I guess is a never-ending process for every painter to some extent. Well, constantly trying to improve is a good thing. So that doesn't actually explain why you're having a negative experience with it. You know, I don't know where people think I am on the painting ladder, yeah. But some people think I'm way up high. Some people think I'm way down low. I kind of like think I've got a lot to work on. So I'm still trying to reach the next level, whatever that means. You know, I'm sure if you look at, let's say, for example, Kirill Kanev, if you don't know who that guy is, go and like Google Yellow One on Cool Mini or not, go and have a look through his gallery. You know, you might consider that guy being at the top of his tree, but I'm sure he's sat there going, right, cool, yeah, I know it all, done it all. I'm sure he's still trying to find the next challenge for himself. It literally is never ending. So, you know, and that challenge doesn't have to necessarily go up in quality, you know. So I've got this thing on my YouTube channel that is about painting a model as fast as you can. What makes a good painter? See, I learned this working for Games Workshop. What makes a good painter? You know, what makes a good painter? The guy who can do non-metal metallics. Well, what if you've got a €60 guy to smash out in a day for a Games Day event, which is what we had to do? What makes a good painter? I can do both. What's your objective? So you got to ask yourself what your objective is. Nate Satan, 1 out of 2 so far. Yeah, drying paint has to dry to reflect certain lights of spectrum into our eyeball. You turn that into one word for me. Novellum. You always doubt your own abilities regardless of what I've done in the past. So if this sound... Mate, I'm absolutely up for a therapy session because I'm toying with the idea of starting to do painting for therapy. Yeah, literally, I want to help people with their lives through painting because I believe it actually has a direct parallel. I'm literally uploading a video that goes into that a little bit more in depth from the last Instagram. So Novellum, go and follow my YouTube channel because I'll put that video live tonight, and we're going to a little bit more about that. So yeah, I'm absolutely interested to hear more about what it is you do. Cov 360 says paint needs to adhere to a surface. Yeah, it definitely needs to do that, but we'll put that under the drying side of things. Damien Pedler says paint brings to life grey plastic and makes your vision a reality. I would say you do that as the painter. It's still like too complex, you know. That's also to a degree an opinion, because if a sculptor hadn't done such a good job, like, you know, would you have had that expression? You know, there's so much life, whether that model has been painted or not, you know, in that. Not enough credit is given to sculptors, sculptors. In that regard, a lot of our hard work as painters, you know, painters kind of get all the glitz and glamour of it all, but sculptors have done so much of that work already. You know, there's more life in a pose, you know, than there is in a paint job. You know, so I'd think about that a little bit more. Novellum says, I have a general negative mentality, which means that when I make a mistake, it just snowballs. What's the it you're talking about? You mean when you make a mistake, you start deliberately making more mistakes? What's the it? Is the it you? And if it's not you, what is the it? Mistakes are all part of it, by the way, mate. Nate Satan says it's a process of doubt. Is that negative? Doctors and pilots use doubt to challenge their work every day. With paper forms. What do you mean by paper forms? With paper forms, but they do. It should be embraced. Yeah, if painting was easy, probably wouldn't be worth doing at all. And the next thing is making mistakes as part of it. Every painter of every level makes mistakes. It's just that the better painters understand how to roll with it, how to prevent it, how to use it, and how to erase it. So start developing those things as part of your skill set. If you didn't make mistakes, you wouldn't learn those 4 things, and that would make you a shitter painter, as a matter of fact. So mistakes are a blessing, as a matter of fact, inarguable. Because you wouldn't learn to deal with those 4 things. You want to level up, make more mistakes, learn how to deal with them. There's 4 more things to get you better, as a matter of fact. Okay? So there you go. Nate Satan says, colorize. Why? Like, everyone makes it so hard all the time. Like, everyone's trying to be so fancy. Like, simplify that word for me, Nate. Just simplify the word colorize. Who uses the word colorize? Paint has 2 jobs to do. One is to dry, the other is to be a... Just say the word for me. Go on, say the word. Actravet. Paint needs to dry, cover the surface. Paint needs to dry, but you need to cover surfaces with it. Paint won't do that itself. Alright. Novellum kind of boils down to the fact that this is pretty much the only thing you have in your life at the moment, other than maybe having a great diet, a great mindset, practicing these things as hard as you practice your painting, you know, and they're all good things, they're all gifts, you know. So like I had like major surgery not so long ago, and the build up to that surgery was hell on earth. For a very, very long time. It affected me mentally, it affected me professionally, it affected me in all my relationships, blah, blah, blah. But I tell you what, on this side of it now, I could tell you, almost stopping a little cry in my little heart there, I could tell you it was a gift. The things it has taught me, I tell you what, it's taught me some massive things about myself. It's taught me some massive things about others. It's taught me some massive things about life. You know, and that suffering was a gift. 4 things. When you make a mistake, you're so immediately frustrated with yourself, so you start rushing as a matter of choice. So you see, painting and the way you think are one and the same things. So what you think affects the way you paint, as a matter of fact. So should you be practicing painting, or should you be practicing thinking to bring a result of painting? Yeah? Do you see how that works? Start practicing the way to think, and it'll manifest in the way you paint. And that is really the essence, to me, the essence of what therapy in painting actually is. And until you realise that, people go, oh, it's so therapeutic, painting. But really what you do is you're not developing the model, you're developing your mind, and it manifests out into the model. That's how this shit works. But once you realise that actually the model isn't the point, your mind is the point, start practicing the mind. If you make a mistake, go, right, now's the point I get upset. So okay, we'll acknowledge that, and now we'll choose another route. And you'll be shit at that for quite a while. But that's what practice is all about. But now you're not practicing, oh, I'm just practicing and practicing. And you could be practicing a bunch of bullshit. But now what you're doing is you're practicing something quite deliberate. You go in your eye, instead of choosing a frustrated thought, I'm now going to choose the thought that Tommy said, actually, there's 4 more things to learn here. Now I've just made this mistake. What 4 things could I do? Well, I could eliminate this mistake. All right, let's just wipe it off. Or I could prevent that mistake. Well, all right, I'll leave that mistake there as a reminder not to do it again in a minute when I paint the opposite side. Or I could go with the mistake. Oh, what would that look like with battle damage on it? Right, now it's battle damage. Cool, brilliant. You know, or you could cover that mistake up. Well, that paint's pretty flat. It's just a mistake. I'll just paint over it and I'll do it again. Well, big deal. Yeah. Either way, you just won in every situation there. The situation where you lose is the moment you step out of the game. You've definitely lost if you're out of the game. So, they're all choices. Literally all choices. And it's got nothing to do with painting. Because choices don't happen out there. Choices happen in there. And that's what separates us from animals, in fact. You know, they're choices. We have choice. We have duality. We have the dichotomy of good and evil. You know, we have all these things. You have all these things. Yeah. Wow, I got me on a thing. So if that's all you've got in life, then that is all you need. Because, you know, look at what I just did for you. How does that idea not apply to cookery or love or financial gain or loss, you know, or whatever it is? You know, it's one true level, you know. Epic, Faith No More, the it. What is it? Yeah, what is it? Is it I? Identify the it. As Bruce Lee says, I do not hit. It hits all by itself. Whatever the it is. Figure that one out. I don't think you'll have figured a lot out. Okay, Development says, when I'm mistaken, I immediately frustrate myself, start rushing in anger at trying to fix it. Well, no, you don't have to. Which leads to more mistakes. Remember that rushing into anger is just a habit you have practiced in, which is a fine example of why practice is a double-edged sack of bullshit. Yeah, it's bullshit on one side and it's fucking gold on the other side. Don't practice. Choose deliberate causes and effects. Make that habit. Make that a practice. The word practice on its own is a bullshit word. Yeah? So start practicing good mental habits. Nate saying, paper forms, CPD, continual professional development, a form, a cyclic diagram that has to be filled in. Like a flowchart. Is that what you mean? COL, collars, colanders. I'm not sure what you guys are going on about now, but it's good fun. You enjoy yourselves. Novellum, to avoid going into too much details, to be honest, it has made my I'm going to assume you mean the word life, worse in terms of anxiety. you have around your own abilities and the prospect of screwing up. Well, we're all going to screw up. We're all going to screw up. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. I'm sat here. I bear my life to you. I've farted about 10 times on camera. I can't tell you how many times I've shit my pants publicly in the last few years. It's fucking funny, is what it is. But that's your perspective. And a perspective is a choice. You can choose. You could choose to think. You could choose to think to put your mind inside the mind of a murderer and you're like beating some guy's brain in. Equally, right now, you could choose to put yourself in the mind of a child and think, I'm going to go and play with some Lego now. You can choose to take those perspectives, you know, because you have choice. You know, that's ultimately what all this is about. You have choice. You know, so start choosing and practicing making the right choices, okay? And it ain't going to happen overnight. Make the mistake, man. Get stuck in. Fuck up. It is funny. Other people find it funny. It's funny. That's why You've Been Framed exists. It's fucking funny. You know? Try, die. Nate Satan. 1, dry. 2, to die. I know die is the wrong word, but it's poetic. Colour. Yeah! I don't like the fact you put an exclamation mark on the end, because that is an example of how simple this stuff is and how we've overcomplicated it so much. You know, it's paint has 2 jobs to do, to dry and to be a colour. If it doesn't do either of them 2 things, any of your other ideas, they are fucked. So by using a dry palette, what are you learning to manage? And by using a dry palette, what are you then, through that learning to manage, developing in yourself? Next question. Go for it. You're so passionate about it, you want to excel at it so badly you can't stop doing it. Crack on, that's good. Failure is the practice run for success. Yeah, it is, isn't it? They're the little tests. You want to know how good you are? Well, here's a fucking mess to clean up. Off you go. It's true. Cheers, Damien. That's good shit, that. Yeah, but in the moment, it's hard to rationalise things. Why rationalise things? What's rational about miniature painting? Tell me what's rational about it. Yeah, if you're a caveman, if you're a gorilla, if you're a parrot, if you're a vole, yeah, tell me about what's rational if any one of them things decided that miniature painting was the thing they were going to do. Rationality has nothing to do with it, man. Don't worry about that. Excel at it so goodly, Nate Satan says, excel at it so goodly with love in your heart, it's your passion. Yeah, man, it'll get you there. It'll get you there. Nate Satan, twisted your words, sorry, you love words. Yeah, words are pretty cool, but words are colour for the ears. They only have meaning depending on A, how you want to receive them, yeah, or that's probably about it. What does red mean? What does red mean any more than the word door means? What does it mean? I mean, we all know what a door is, but why the word door? Why not the word je? You know, why? What does the word door mean? You know, so when you get into all madnesses like that, you know, it just looks pretty. You know, the word door on its own doesn't mean anything, but if I combine it with a few other words like, you know, the door to my heart, you know, things start to become poetic. It's like painting pictures for your ears. Anyway, LK says, you are a lot of love and wisdom. Oh, no, you are a lot of love and a kid of wisdom. Is that directed at me or one of the other dudes? Thank you if it's for me, by the way. Hellchild says, focus your anger to work for you instead of reacting to your anger. You're angry. Feel it. It's good. It's all alright, man. Feel the anger. Even when you sling your model up the wall and smash it in, that's going to be a good memory. Do you remember that time when everything went just right and nothing significant happened? Yeah, it was brilliant. Or do you remember the time you tried to fart and you shat yourself astronomically in public? Now that I fucking remember. That is funny. Alright, so talk to me about your life going wrong. Man, literally, right, let me tell you, right, my large bowel rotted into me bladder, alright, and when you go to the bog and you find out that it's happened by farting out the end of your own dick, then tell me that you lie. Tell me that and laugh at it. Tell me that your life's that bad. You know, it's fucking funny whatever your troubles are. You know, talk to me about anxiety. Like I was gonna die through shitting out of my own bell end. You know, so, you know, and I have to deal with stuff like this on a day-to-day basis. You know, and I tell you what, one thing about bugs me. People who say, "Oh, you think you think it's bad." Think about all those dying kids in the world. I tell you what, one thing will never make me happy is thinking about other people suffering. Yeah, that'll never make me happy. So I'm not trying to do that. I'm saying like, because that's not what this is all about. Other people's suffering will never cheer me up. However, in your mistakes and in your frustrations, that's where the answers lie. You know, so let me give an example. Oh, my paint's all lumpy. Oh, I put my paint on all wrong. Well, in all those two things, there's the answers. Will make your paint smooth. Will apply your paint smooth. Do you know what I mean? Why are you using? And we still not answered the question about the palette from earlier on, by the way. You know, you ask yourself like, oh, that line. In fact, here's a good example. People use bullshit criticisms on the internet when it comes to criticising paint. Oh yeah, I don't like that line, it's a little bit fudgy. What the fuck does that mean? If they said the line wobbles and it wobbles there once, it bulbs out at that point for about 3mm, and then it gets wider at the bottom end, and I think it should be straight. Well, by identifying those 2 points of error, you then identify how you want to be straight. Well, in that problem lie the solution. You know, that's just a matter of fact. So crack on. You do that's why you force yourself to paint until 4 a.m. if you're not happy with something. I'd go to bed, man. If you're not happy, but if you're enjoying staying up till 4 a.m, I'd do that as well. You know. If you're not happy, don't do it, because all you're doing is training in unhappy. Remember, habits, good or bad, are practiced in. Habits, good or bad, are practiced in. If you have a good or bad painting or mental or dietary or financial habit, it has been practiced in. We use this word practice as if it's the answer. It's not the fucking answer. It's only the answer on one side. It's not the answer on the other side. Start being aware. Make the right practice choices. You don't have to wear clothes to use words either, Damien Pedley. Or are you still naked, Mr. Damien, by the way? Okay, Novellum, I know deep down that my thought patterns are irrational. That's alright. You just can't help it, though. Thanks for letting me get this stuff out. I know I probably sound... Mate, you don't sound mad at all. You do not sound mad. I mean, the only reason I'm sat here being as animated and as giving and as hopefully helpful as I seem is because, you know, painting's my real bag. It's like the one thing I've gone so deep into. But in other areas of my life, I'm a fucking wreck. I'm a wreck. You're only dead at the end of it all. Fuck it. Honestly. Just know that. When... Right, so there's 30 seconds remaining. I'm going to see if I can upload this video to YouTube. Because I'm really enjoying this. I'm going to see if I can upload this video to YouTube. Alright? And then I'll try and come back on in about 20 minutes once I've deleted this video from Instagram. They'll let me do another one. Alright guys, so I'll see you in a bit. I can't read all your comments, unfortunately, either, so see you in a bit.